Hi all, welcome to another video of compressible fluid flow video lecture series. In the last class we have discussed about the propagation of sound waves or the propagation of pressure waves in an elastic medium. Now in this class we will study about the propagation of infinitesimal sound waves, infinitesimal waves which is otherwise known as sound waves in a compressible fluid medium. So let us see. A sound wave is considered to be an infinitesimal pressure wave, and the changes across such a wave are small, and the speed of the process corresponding to these changes is fast. And if there is no heat transfer in the system, the changes across the wave can be assumed as reversible, adiabatic, or isentropic. Now, we will consider this situation with the help of an example. We will consider the propagation of a sound wave into a stagnant gas. Here, we can see stagnant gas is filled inside a duct, and the duct is a constant area duct. That means we have seen ducts like gas flow ducts in AC, air conditioning system, etc. This is a duct just like that. So this is a constant area duct, and there will be no heat transfer across the duct walls. Okay, so from the duct surface there will not be any heat transfer to inside or from inside to outside also. Okay, so it can be considered as a adiabatic flow. This type of flows can be considered as adiabatic flow. So here a stagnant gas is filled. Stagnant gas means the gas with no velocity. Here the velocity is standstill at this condition, at this stagnant condition, and in this condition the pressure and temperature of the gas is given like this, small p and capital T. And from a source of disturbance, the source of disturbance is not shown here. Actually, if we are considering the source of disturbance here, from that source a sound wave or a pressure wave is propagating through this gas, and it is propagating through this duct, okay, through the gas which is filled inside this duct. And we can see the current position of our sound wave or the wave front. The wave front has reached at this position, and it has reached at this position after traveling through this area which is inside the duct. Okay, so now the wave has passed through the stagnant gas which has a pressure P and T, but we can see after the propagation of the wave through this stagnant gas, some properties of the gas has changed. Properties of the gas have changed. Let us see what all changes have occurred. The pressure has changed to P plus dP. We all know that a sound wave is an infinitesimal pressure wave and it is compressive in nature. Therefore, there will be an increase in pressure. So the increase in pressure is P plus dP. Likewise, the increase in temperature is T plus dt. Okay, initial temperature was T, and now a dt temperature has been added to the previous temperature. Also, at the initial condition the gas was stagnant, and after the passage of this wave a slight increase in velocity has been noticed. Okay, that increase is termed as dc. So dc is the increase in velocity which is imparted by this propagated sound wave through this stagnant gas. So now we can represent these changes with the help of some graphs. So here two graphs are shown, and one is a velocity distance graph and the other one is a pressure distance graph, and these two graphs are aligned according to the length of this duct. Okay, so the length of the duct is shown in these two graphs as the x-axis. So we can see the distance in the x-axis in these two graphs. And now let us check the first graph, velocity with respect to time, velocity with respect to distance graph. We can see that the graph starts from zero distance. That means at the starting of this duct. Now since the wave has passed through this portion, we can show in the graph we can show the velocity in the graph as dc. It is a constant velocity which is imparted by the wave up to this point. Okay, up to this point. After this point our gas will be in stagnant condition. So up to this point the wave has traveled and the corresponding changes have been occurred. So we can mark dc velocity, which is a change in gas velocity inside the duct, and at this point the velocity will be coming to 0, because after this point, from this point, our gas will be at stagnant condition. Okay, so this is a velocity distance graph. Likewise, we can discuss about pressure distance graph. From the same diagram, this is the current position of our wavefront. So the area in which the wavefront has to travel, at that area we will have a stagnant gas, so the pressure is P, but the area up to which the wave has traveled, in that area the pressure has increased from P to P plus dP. Okay, so the graph will be like this. Initially we can see the pressure is larger, then at the stagnant area the pressure will be decreasing. Okay, so we can align this graph according to the duct flow. Now we are coming to the next condition. The same situation, we can consider the same situation in another manner by using control volume approach. We are all familiar with the control volume approach. We have already discussed in detail about control volume approach, and we have derived certain equations which are known as rate equations on the basis of this control volume approach. Now here also we are applying our control volume approach. So in this case we are considering our wavefront inside a control volume. The wavefront is now considered to be inside a control volume, and the control surface of that control volume is shown here. So here we are changing the considerations, we are changing the directional considerations a little bit like this. If we are applying this control volume approach to our moving wave, which the wave is moving from left to right, and if you are considering our wave is inside a control volume, that means we are traveling along with the wave. That means we are now not the observer. In the initial case we were the observer of the situation. Now we are traveling along with the wave from left to right. Okay, that means even if the gas is stagnant condition inside the duct, if we are traveling along with the wave, we can feel that the gas is traveling in the opposite direction towards us. Okay, we can say this condition as the relative motion of the stagnant gas with respect to the motion of the wave. So as per that condition, as per that concept, the relative velocity of the gas can be considered as A, small a, and small a was the velocity of our wave in the previous condition. We can see in the diagram as the velocity of the wave is small a. So here we are applying the control volume approach. The wave, we are traveling along with the wave, the relative velocity of the gas will be changing to a. In the previous condition it was 0 here, now the relative velocity of the gas is a. And here the relative velocity of the gas again is taken, but we have to consider the velocity of the gas imparted by the wavefront. In the previous case it was dc. dc was a small velocity change imparted by the wavefront by traveling up to this point. So we need to consider that velocity component also, and if you are considering the velocity component along with its direction is from left to right. Here the direction of the velocity a is from right to left. So by considering those two components here, the velocity will be a minus dc. A is from right to left and dc is from left to right. So combining both velocity components, we can write a minus dc, since a is larger than dc. A is the velocity, relative velocity of the gas now, and dc is a slight change in velocity imparted by the wave. So a will be always greater than dc, therefore a minus dc. Here also we can show this variation of the velocity with respect to a graph. The velocity distance graph is shown here. So likewise, like we have done in the previous case, we have plotted the graph with respect to velocity and distance. But we can see there is no change in the pressure distance graph. It was same as before. It is same as before, since we are not considering any directional consideration with respect to the pressure. So the pressure diagram will be same. Now, what all concepts, what all things we have to consider in this condition? The pattern is shown in the figure, which will be observed when the observer moves with the wave. In this case, the stagnant gas at pressure P on the right appears to flow towards the left with a velocity a. When the flow has passed through the wave to the left, the pressure is raised to P plus dP and the velocity is lowered to a minus dc. In this case, the velocity is lowered when we are considering the direction. So it is a minus dc. Now the momentum and continuity equation are written in the control surface. We can consider the momentum and continuity equation in this case, in this second case. So here we are starting the derivation for the velocity of the sound, velocity of the infinitesimal pressure wave. So by considering the momentum equation, we can write like this: a into p minus p plus dp is equal to mass flow rate into a minus dc minus a. Now we will start from the right hand side. Okay. As per the momentum equation, we know that from the Newton's second law of motion, force in a particular direction is equal to rate of change of momentum in that direction. Okay, so we are taking the concept from that law and we are starting from the right hand side. So as per the definition, rate of change of momentum in a particular direction, we can write the rate of change of momentum as mass flow rate into velocity, change in velocity. Mass flow rate is shown here into change in velocity, that is rate of change of momentum, and mass flow rate into change of velocity. Inside this change of velocity, as per the conventional aspects from the second law of, if you are considering the second law of motion, Newton's second law of motion, it will be final velocity minus initial velocity. Final velocity minus initial velocity. So we can see that a minus dc here is the final velocity. Okay, the velocity change after the passage of the wave, it is considered to be the final velocity, minus a, small a. Small a is initial velocity, it is the initial velocity of the gas. So the velocity without any change, and it is a velocity before the passage of this wave through this gas. So mass flow rate m dot into a minus dc minus a, that is equal to. Now before going to the left hand side, let us consider the dimension, the value of this right hand side. Since a minus dc, it is a lower value than a. We all know that a minus dc is a lowered velocity, lowered to a minus dc. Therefore a minus dc must be lower than a. So the entire right hand side will be negative. So as per our statement, the left hand side also must be negative. So we need to take here on the left hand side, we are finding the force. So we have to take area into pressure. Pressure into area is the force equation, but here we have to consider the change in pressure. So to get the negative value, we will consider initial pressure minus final pressure. Okay, in that way we will get the negative value to the left hand side also. So initial value is P. P means the pressure of the stagnant gas before the passage of the wave, minus P plus dP. P plus dP is the final pressure with the changes made by the passage of the wave. Okay, so P minus P plus dP will be negative value. So right hand side is also negative, and here left hand side is also negative. Okay. Now we have applied the momentum equation which is directly coming from the Newton's second law of motion. Now from this we can get an expression. After simplifying this, we can get an expression like this: a into dP is equal to m dot dc. Okay. Now we will use this equation later. Now coming to the continuity equation, we will consider the same diagram. In continuity equation, we all know that it is mass flow rate is equal to constant, mass flow rate is equal to rho into a area into velocity. So here it is rho into capital A into small a. Small a is the velocity of the gas, velocity of the wave. Now the equations yield. That means we have applied this mass flow rate equation into this equation. our previously found equation, and we have rearranged this equation after applying for mass flow rate, and we will get an expression for dp. dp is equal to rho a into dc. Now we will again consider the continuity equation for two sides of the wave. That means now here the wave has reached at this position. We will find the mass flow rate before the passage of the wave and after the passage of the wave. So before the passage of the wave, the mass flow rate will be at this position, and after the passage of the wave, the mass flow rate will be at this position. So before the passage of the wave, it is rho a into a, and after the passage of the wave, our mass flow rate will be having some changes. Density has changed from rho to rho plus d rho, and area is the same, capital A. Now, and our velocity has changed from a to a minus dc. Okay. Now from this also we will after rearranging and simplification, we will get an expression. But before going to this expression, we need to consider consider a matter in this simplification. During the simplification of this equation, we will get a component like this, d rho into dc. Actually, we have to cross multiply these components to get this final form. So during cross multiplying, we will get a term called d rho into dc. Okay, I will write it here, d rho into dc. Okay, both these two components are very small values. Okay, we can consider the d rho as a decimal value, dc also a decimal value. So if you are finding the product of already two small values, the final value will also be very, very smaller. So this term can be neglected since it is very, very small when compared to other components. Understood? Okay, so when simplifying this into this, we have to consider that also. And after simplification, we have finally gotten an expression like this. Now substituting from the equation, that means we are comparing this equation and this equation. These two equations are compared and simplified and rearranged to obtain an expression like this. A square is equal to dp by d rho, and here a is the velocity of the sound. We need to find an expression for velocity of sound, right? Therefore we have brought the small a terms to the left hand side and simplified like this. Therefore a is equal to root of dp by d rho, and since the process has been assumed as isentropic, we can write the equation like this. A is equal to root of dou p by dou rho for isentropic process. Okay, we will consider it as a partial derivative. Now coming to the conclusion of the derivation, we will consider our bulk modulus of elasticity. K is equal to rho into dp by d rho. We have already derived this expression previously. Now applying this in our equation, we will get dp by d rho. For dp by d rho, we can substitute k by rho in this equation. Therefore our equation will change like this. A is equal to root of k by rho. Again, we will also consider the coefficient of the bulk modulus of elasticity in the case of isentropic flow. So it is Ks, it is equal to gamma p. Therefore our K will be changed to gamma p. Okay, again we all know that the equation of state, we all know about the equation of state, which is P equal to rho RT. Okay, P equal to rho RT. Therefore P by rho can be written as RT. Therefore it is finally changed to root of gamma RT. Now this can be considered as final expressions for the velocity of sound wave, or the velocity of infinitesimal pressure wave, which is considered to be the velocity of sound. Now we can consider this also. Here capital R is the characteristic gas constant. We can find the universal gas constant by using the molecular mass of the gas by using this expression. M bar R is equal to R bar, and R bar is a universal gas constant. Therefore, we can write the equation like this also. Root of gamma into r bar divided by m bar into t. Okay. Now we can come to some conclusions from this equation. First conclusion is, in a given fluid, the velocity of sound is higher at higher temperature. We can see that our velocity of velocity of sound A is directly proportional to root T. That means at higher temperature, the velocity of sound will also be higher. Second, the fluids with higher values of bulk modulus have higher velocities of sound. That we can find from this equation. Okay, that conclusion is coming from this equation. A is equal to root of k by rho, which means when we are increasing the bulk modulus of elasticity, or the fluid is having a large bulk modulus of elasticity value, its velocity of sound also will be higher. Now, third conclusion, with the little changes in the value of the gamma for commonly used gases, the velocity of the sound at a given temperature is higher for lower weight gases and vice versa. Okay, that means if we are slightly changing the value of gamma, and also if we are using gases with less value of molecular weight. Okay, if the gas is having a less value for this m bar, its the velocity of sound in that gas will be higher. Okay, and vice versa also. If you are using high molecular mass gas, in that gas the velocity of the sound will be lower. Okay. So these are the conclusions derived from this important expression. This is very, very important expression. This derivation also is very important in examination point of view. So in the next class we will discuss about Mach number. So this is for this class. Thank you.